Hi, this is the story about three princes from Hastinapur: Pandu, Vidura, and Dhritarashtra. To quickly recap the last video, Vichitravirya died soon after his marriage with Ambika and Ambalika. Hastinapur now has no king. Satyavati's deep desire of her sons becoming the king does not get fulfilled. She still deeply desires for it even after Vichitravirya's death. She is super depressed. She asks Bhishma to break his vow of celibacy. Bhishma disagrees and reminds her that he had taken this vow for her so that she could marry his father, King Shantanu. Satyavati, after thinking a lot, shares with Bhishma the story of her eldest son, Vedvyas. Vedvyas was born to her and sage Parashar even before she had married King Shantanu. She decides to ask Vedvyas for help, given he was her eldest son. At that time, Vedvyasa was doing deep penance in the forest with his father, sage Parashar. Satyavati remembers that her son had told her before he left that he would come to her help for whenever she needed and whenever she remembered him. Satyavati calls for her son Vedvyasa and asks him to come to the kingdom. Vedvyasa promptly arrives. Satyavati asks Vedvyasa to bless Ambika and Ambalika with sons. Vedvyasa asks her mother for 1 year before he does this, so that he could fix himself and be more presentable. Satyavati could not wait for a year. She insisted to go immediately. Vyasa first goes to Ambika's chamber. Ambika was horrified after looking at Vyasa's rustic looks, and out of fear, she closes her eyes when Vyasa comes in her room. Vyasa blesses her, but given that she had closed her eyes when she was receiving the blessings, the son born to Ambika was blind. Ambika named her son as Dhritarashtra. Satyavati was feeling miserable to have a child born with defects. She was very well aware that this child could not become an able future king because he had defects. She then tells Ambalika not to close her eyes like what Ambika did. Satyavati then asks Vyasa to bless Ambalika next. Ambalika does not close her eyes, but she grows pale when she looks at Vyasa. Thus, the son born to Ambalika was weak and pale. Ambalika names her son as Pandu. Satyavati then asks Vyasa to again bless Ambika so that she could have a proper child. Ambika was so scared this second time that she sent her maid to Vyasa instead of herself. The maid was not afraid. She did not close her eyes and received Vyasa's blessings well. Their son was born normal. His name was Vidur. Vidur could not become the king even when he was the most deserving of the three. There was a rule that said only wives of lawfully wedded husband can become bearers of future generation of kings. Satyavati was not sure what to do now. An occasion of intense happiness of having grandsons was turned into a miserable event for her. Remember how King Bharata's days were so different than these current days and situation? King Bharata did not choose his own sons to be the next king after him because they were not fit. In case of Satyavati, she only wants her sons to be the king. Think. Let's look at some of the insights from this story. Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura are now being raised by Bhishma as if they were his own sons. The irony of the situation was evident to everyone. Bhishma, who had sworn never to beget a family of his own, was entrapped by the family of his father, which included a stepmother, two widowed sister in laws, their maid, and three nephews. We all have situations in our life where we feel, why is this happening to me? What wrong have I done? Am I I'm doing everything good, and why do I have to suffer so much? Vidura's situation is very similar. He was the most worthy to be the king. Even then, why could he not become the king? Why does he have to suffer? What wrong did he do? The answer to this lies in the law of karma. For solving this mystery, let's look at Vidura's past life. Vidura is an incarnation of Lord Yama, the Lord of Death, who is born to live out a curse. This is how it happened. Once, a group of thieves took refuge in hermitage of sage Mandavya, who was lost in meditation. Mandavya was accused of aiding these thieves and as a punishment was tortured and impaled by the guards of the king. When he appeared before Lord Yama, the god of death, he asked for an explanation for his suffering, for he had hurt no living creature in his life. Lord Yama replies, "Yes, you have. When you were a child, you took delight in impaling tiny insects on a straw. Your suffering was a repayment for that karmic debt incurred then." Mandavya protested that as a child he was ignorant. How could he be punished for it? Lord Yama said, "That is the law of karma." Mandavya got furious and cursed Yama that he would take birth as a man and suffer the fate of never becoming a king despite having all qualities of a perfect ruler. And so Vidura was born. Now we can see the relation of why bad things happened to Vidura, even if we think that Vidura did nothing wrong. This also applies in our lives. I believe we should do our best to get out of our sufferings when unfair things happen to us. But when it becomes impossible to come out of it, even after all of our better than best efforts, our best option is to continue our efforts to come out of it and go through those situations joyfully. In the process, we learn the valuable lessons from those difficult situations and become better human beings. Will any of Satyavati's grandson actually become king? To find out, stay tuned for the next video. If you have questions or thoughts about this video, add them in comments section below. If you want to be notified about future videos, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.